Hello, I'm Michael Boyanger, and I'm going to be talking about, again, a second video today on my upcoming book, Moonshot, the Gus Wagner story. Again, it's the story about my late father-in-law's work as an engineer with Grumman's, along with his brother, working on the lunar lander, which during the Apollo mission put 12 Americans on the moon. And basically, it's about his story, and it's also, though, about Jerry, my late wife Jerry's story, and along with me, and our experiences with space exploration, astronomy, science in general, that sometimes can be very funny. For instance, Jerry and I were members of the American Museum of Natural History, the greatest museum of its kind in the world, without question. But in Mark Twain fashion, I do poke fun at, our institutions at times, which is what living in this country is about, freedom of speech, okay? And so you can tell a funny story about a great place and just have a laugh about it. But we were members of the American Museum of Natural History, the Rose Center, and we had quite a few experiences there. One time we were stargazing on the roof of the Rose Center. I think it was, I'm not sure, because it's been a while, but I think it was one of those times when Mars was very close to Earth, so it was a very pronounced coloring. But anyhow, most of the people there were looking across the street at Jerry Seinfeld's penthouse apartment with its 20-foot floor-to-ceiling windows, and just kind of peering in there looking for Jerry Seinfeld, the famous comedian back then. And another time, we were poking around the Rose Center, and Jerry went in her direction, I went in mine, and I was walking towards the back wall for some reason, and I looked to my left, and there was a pole or a pipe or something from the floor to the ceiling with a little glass box on it, the size of a card deck. What could that be? Out of the way like that. So I walked over there, and as I got closer, I realized I was looking at a moon rock, which you could tell a moon rock, believe me, before you even see the label. It's a pronounced kind of gray coloring with speckles in it. And anyhow, I was like, why would they put this out of the way? I ended up having a talk about it with my father-in-law, who's an engineer, and he just sat there silently after I told him it, and he didn't answer that, why it was there. He just said, well, the UN has a moon rock that they have in a prominent location in New York. So that was the end of that. I did a little research, though, and found out that they actually had, the American Museum of Natural History had 4 moon rocks, more than any other museum in the world, except for the Smithsonian. And I'm like, well, Jerry and I had been all over that museum, planetarium, Rose Center, and the only moon rock we ever saw was on that pipe. So where were the other moon rocks? And, well, I said, well, maybe one's being used as a paperweight on the director's desk. I don't know. Who knows? But anyhow, another funny story is they have the famous Wilmot meteorite there. It's about the size of a Volkswagen. And at that time, the museum policies, they wanted people, anything that was open to touch, you can touch. They wanted to encourage kids to touch things. And so I decided, let me go and touch and meditate at the meteorite. And so I went there, I put my eyes closed, put my hand on it, and was trying to feel some kind of energy. And all of a sudden I heard a shout next to me. I turned next to me, and there was a well-dressed, dapper Tibetan man pulling his hand away from the meteorite and shouting at me, and quickly walking away. I don't know what that was about, but I later read, again, doing research, and by the way, watch out. There's a lot of fake stuff on the internet these days. I think they're intentionally trying to disable our systems of knowledge. But anyhow, I found out that there's an Oregon Confederation of Native American nations that consider that meteor a sacred thing, and that they had worked out a arrangement with the museum, whereas the museum would continue to display it, but the Native Americans from Oregon at any moment, at any time, could visit the meteorite, because it is a sacred object for them. And in the event that the museum stopped displaying it, it would automatically go back to the Oregon Native Americans. Anyhow, interesting stories, and have a nice day.